Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I am actually not at my office right now. I am actually at the hospital. My mother in law had some procedures to get done today. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as her son in law and making sure she's good. So, for those of you that were coming to stock market class, I apologize for having to cancel class. We will reconnect and go ahead and get some more stuff done soon. Anyway, good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to come in and talk about Shaddeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son. Shaddeur is a great quarterback. He's a great athlete. His father, just like his father was a great athlete too. And there were some interesting conversations being had about Shador after that Oregon game. If you don't know, they got beat pretty bad, and it was kind of sad to watch. But anyway, the conversation I was having online was one that I thought would be worth continuing here, just to sort of dig into it a little bit deeper. The conversation has to do with that line, that thin line, that interesting line between confidence and arrogance. Now, I'm not saying that Shador is confident or arrogant. I don't know which one. I don't know this man in that way. But I will say that there are some points to be made about sort of, really the lessons that can be learned when you are trying to climb to the top. And so anyway, what's up, Feet Funkerson? How you doing, brother? Do me a favor. Can y'all give me a yes that you can hear me? Let me know you can hear me. Okay, give me a quick yes. Let me know that I'm coming through all right, and we'll get started on the conversation. So here's what happened, and this is what led me to make this the topic for today. So I was on Twitter, and there was this basically this comment Tom Brady made. Tom Brady is one of Shadur Sanders' mentors, and he basically found out Shador had a Rolls Royce. I don't know. Give me a yes if you heard about this. And he basically said he needs to spend less time in the car and more time in the film room, and he needs to get his ass. I think he said he needs to take his ass to the film room instead of spending all his time in that car. And and so I shared that. I said, breaking news: since last week's game against Oregon, Shador was seen driving a 2007 Toyota Corolla. And I was being funny. I was just being silly, just to kind of say like he was really humbled, and that was interesting. Now, what was funny was what led me to sort of want to come in and have more of a conversation was some of the reactions I saw. That seemed almost like a little bit defensive of his Rolls Royce, defensive of him having his confidence, things like that. Now, first off, I want to start off by saying this. There's nothing wrong with somebody having whatever car they want. I don't believe that it's anybody's right to judge whether or not another man can buy a car. Right? I don't care about cars. Cars don't mean that much to me. I have a nice car. Our cars. Me and my wife both have luxury cars. Ain't nothing wrong with having a nice car. Also, I want to make this also clear. Give me a yes if you understand this point, and also give me a yes if it's okay if we disagree and still love each other. Um, I don't think that Shador Sanders is a bad guy. I don't know how great of a player he is one way or the other. I think that there's still a lot to prove. There's still a lot to prove in terms of what he can do. I also make the assumption that he's confident because his father was also very confident, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Now, where am I going to step in on this conversation? I'm going to step in two ways. One, as a black man, I'm not a child. I'm an OG. I'm Uncle Boyce. The other area I'm going to step in, I've been a black man my whole life now. And number two is I'm stepping in as a finance professor because there is a lesson to be learned actually when you talk about generational wealth. There's a lesson learned here, and this relates to Shador Sanders, Deion Sanders, and the difference between confidence and arrogance. Again, I don't know what Shador where he stands on this plane. I have no idea. All I know is what I've seen, and I can kind of give you some perspective on this that'll hopefully help you in terms of dealing with your own kids. Here's the thing: having successful parents can be a blessing and a curse. It can be a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in the sense that you get a lot of privilege, you get a lot of opportunity, you get a lot of wealth, you get access to important famous people like Tom Brady. The whole country knows who you are. You get a lot of the trappings that come with being successful and famous. Wonderful. The downside of having a successful parent is that number one, you have a very high standard to reach. That Michael Jordan's sons, to me, are a great example of this. Both of his sons, I think, were really kind of overwhelmed by being in the shadow of a great father like that. And Jordan, he's a tough guy, so that was probably tough on those poor kids. Um, and then number two is that sometimes you can be born on third base and think you hit a home run. Do you understand? Some people are born on third base and think they hit a grand slam. I'm not saying Shaddeur Sanders is one of those people. I'm just telling you. Give me a yes if you've seen that. Have you ever seen somebody who was born wealthy and had access to a lot of things and really thought that the reason they had access to all this was because they work harder than everybody else, or they're better than everybody else, or they accomplish more than everybody else? When really, your daddy did a lot of that for you. It doesn't mean Shaddeur ain't done nothing. I'm not saying he hasn't done anything, but if you compare what he's done to what his daddy did, those are two different things. Like they said, and actually the saying, I said it wrong. Some people are born on third base and think they hit a triple. Donald Trump is an example. Thank you, Dr. Bingham. Right? So you got people that are born on third base and think they hit a triple. Not to say Shaddeur is in this category, because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Because I know that we tend to love celebrities in our community and all that. And I'm not even dissing Shaddeur at all. I like the guy a lot as a player. But what's funny was, like, I saw him doing this with his watch. I think when you do that with your watch, that's like you shining on somebody. Like I'm like almost like almost like, remember when people talk about popping their collar or whatever? Right now it was kind of like this. And I don't know if y'all saw after the game against Colorado State, he shined his watch on TV. He talked about being friends with Tom Brady. He also had on those sunglasses that his daddy sells, right? And I thought that was cool. That was cool. But I said, "Woo, buddy, you setting yourself up, homeboy. I hope you can back up all this talking that you're doing, because because you're creating a lot of jealousy and animosity when you carry yourself that way. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Doesn't mean he ain't earned it. Doesn't mean he's not a great player. Doesn't mean he's not a good guy. It just means that when you out here stunting, you attracting a lot of attention. You attracting a lot of player haterologists. You got haterologists out here just staring you down, watching everything you do, waiting for you to fail, waiting for their chance to take away what you got. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. In fact, that's why you don't really. One thing I don't do is you don't see me out here really fronting and showing off fancy cars and luxury items and all this stuff. I don't do that because that draws a lot of attention to you. It does. So here's what was interesting to me about. Hey, babe, I'm live right now. I've been calling you and texting you. I know. You need something? I'm live. I'm literally live right now. Do you need something, baby? Need something, but go ahead. What do you need, baby? Well, I don't just know everybody's listening. Okay. All right. It's private. Okay. Okay. All right. It's private. I'll go back in. Yeah, okay. All right. I'll come. Some news for you though. Oh, really? Okay. I'll come in and talk to you in 1 second. Okay. All right, baby. All right. That's my wife. So do you mean to tell me you don't carry a go-yard bag? What is a go-yard bag? I don't even know what a go-yard bag is. Y'all gotta forgive me. I'm not into luxury shit. Anyway, honestly, like, no disrespect to him for having a Rolls, but that's not like I wouldn't want. That's no. But anyway, but they're nice cars though. I hear that they're very nice. So anyway, so here's the deal. All right. So anyway, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. As y'all saw, my wife needs me, so I'm gonna have to go in a minute. But that's what happens when you get married. Your wife calls you. You got to go do stuff. But okay. So let me get back in. So with Shaddeur, what I really think you can pick up from this and learn from this is that a lot of people make a horrible mistake of thinking that arrogance is the same as confidence. They think that the guy who is shining and bragging on himself and telling you how great he is, that's the most confident person in the room, and that's not really confidence. Typically, the most confident person, a lot of times, is the quietest person or the most humble person, because they don't feel that they need to show you or prove to you what they are. They just are that thing. And one of the things that I think Shaddeur has to kind of process is when he's drawing all that attention, and he literally, almost gives the impression that he just won a Super Bowl, when all you really did was you beat Colorado State. Everybody beats Colorado State, and everybody doesn't have to go into double overtime to beat Colorado State. Oregon is sitting over there, and they're looking at him, and you create a lot of jealousy. They're looking at him saying, "Who does this dude think he is?" This dude ain't done nothing. He ain't won no big games. He ain't played in the national spotlight. He been in the national spotlight for about 2 weeks as an athlete, and he's already kicking it with Tom Brady. A regular guy has to work his whole career and win a couple Super Bowls before he can hang out with Tom Brady. He has to beat the best players in the world to hang out with Tom Brady. But Shador hangs out with Tom Brady because of what his father did in the 1990s, right? And I think that what happens is that sometimes you can get an illusion that you have accomplished more than what you actually have. I tended to agree with Tom Brady when Tom Brady made that statement about, spend less time in that car and more time in the film room. Tom Brady was kind of doing what a lot of wealthy families do. Wealthy families have this problem where your children who are born into wealth don't have an understanding of how hard you had to sacrifice in order to get that wealth. Do you understand? According to statistics, 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth in one generation. 70% lose all their wealth within one generation. 90% lose all their wealth within two generations. A lot of the reason that this occurs is because the children don't have the same work ethic as the parents. The children don't understand the sacrifice. The children don't understand how hard it was to get to the top of the mountain. They're just enjoying the view. And so effectively when Tom Brady made that remark, that's something a lot of guys over 40 understand. I was like, yeah, you get in that car, you're gonna be soft. You sitting around just constantly driving around in the Rolls Royce and all that, and next thing you know, you get caught slipping. You're not putting out the effort necessary for you to be the kind of champion that you're already claiming to be. Give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. Give me a yes if we can say all this without anybody thinking that we're hating on Shaddeur or hating on Dion. I was cheering for the guys. I was really thinking like, I wonder if they could beat Oregon. I fell for some of the hype. Oregon beat the brakes off of that team. They beat them like there was no question. Every single play, Shaddeur Sanders was running around that field like a runaway slave. They had him running like he had just broke out of prison. He could not even sit in the pocket for more than 2 seconds before they were coming in and trying to break every bone in his body. And that a lot of that was not just driven by competition, it was driven by hate. It was driven by jealousy. It was driven by who the hell this motherfucker think he is. I'm going to show him today who I am because I earned mine. I built mine. I started from nothing and built this. You driving a limo because of what your daddy did. You ain't earned that limo. You driving it because your daddy did some stuff, right? So what I'm saying to you at the end of the day is I think Shadeur's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot to prove. And I think that one of the things, you know what it reminds me of? I'm going to use myself as an example on this. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. I remember when I was, I was never the kind of athlete that Shador is. I was never the kind of athlete that Dion is. Dion ran 10.26 in the 100-meter dash. I would have gave my left testicle to run that fast. I really know how fast that is because I was captain of the track team. So I have tremendous respect for when Dion says he ran 10.2 in the 100 meters. I know what that means. That's extraordinary, right? Um, but I wasn't that dude athletically, but I was that dude when it came to academics. When I was in college, I was the number one black student on the entire campus. I was the Wall Street Journal outstanding graduating senior. I graduated with a triple major. I got two bachelor's degrees in 4 years. I could have got three. It was easy for me, right? I was that dude academically. When I got my PhD, I was the only black man or black woman on the entire planet to get a PhD in finance in the year 2002. There's still none. I've never met anybody, at least not African American, to get that same degree that year. So why am I bringing this up? I say this because I also got trapped by my own arrogance, right? I also thought that even though I was young at 21, I thought I had the experience and the wisdom of a guy who was 31 or 41. I was teaching college students at the age of 22. You couldn't tell me nothing. So let me tell you what happened. This is what's interesting. So I got a car. It wasn't no it wasn't no no Rolls Royce. But it was a nice car. And the reason I got this car was because since I was the number one student, I got thousands of dollars in scholarship money, right? So, when you were poor like me and didn't have a lot of money, that 10,000, 5,000, whatever it was in scholarship money was a big deal. I took that money, I bought me a car. Now, here's what happened. I was driving this car a lot, and I was rolling around, meeting girls and living my life, feeling like I was the stuff. And here was what occurred though, because I was in that car, and because I was out, living this life, thinking I had accomplished more than I had. My GPA started to drop. I had the worst semester that I'd ever had all through college. That was my absolute worst semester. And what happened back then was I got cocky. I got cocky. I got comfortable. And so I think that when Tom Brady was saying to Shaddeur, spend less time in the limo and spend more time in the film room, he was basically giving him the kind of wisdom that you have to be a wise person to appreciate. He was giving him the kind of wisdom that you'll only understand if you've ever gone through adversity. He was giving him the kind of wisdom that you won't get if you're short sighted or can only see things from one perspective. He was giving you Tom Brady wisdom, which is why Tom Brady is arguably the greatest player in NFL history. If he's not the greatest, he's one of the top three or four. He's arguably the greatest quarterback ever. No quarterback has won that many Super Bowls, from what I understand. So, with that said, I understood where he was coming from, and I wondered with Shaddeur, you know, you beat Colorado State in an amazing game. You play well against Colorado State, but I felt like society was acting like he had just beat Alabama in the national championship. Like they were acting like he had just won his fifth Super Bowl, and that just was not the case. So what happened was when he went to Oregon, the Oregon guy said, "Okay, there's a lot of flash on the other side of the field. We don't have as much flash. Maybe we're jealous. They probably were jealous for sure. But they said we got substance." And I think that what was probably also going on was there was a little bit of a jealousy thing driven by the fact that there's a lot of attention that the Colorado players got that they had not yet earned by actually winning games, right? So what is going to occur, and this is going to be true for the rest of the season, Shador is going to have to live with this, is every single team is going to put an X on their back. Every single team is going to come out for blood. And when they play USC, it's going to be a tough game for them. It could look just as bad as the Oregon game. I hope it doesn't. I really don't. I really hope that they can win. But I want to encourage anybody out here: if you're trying to go and be the best, go. Don't listen to the culture. The culture tells you not to be humble. There's nothing wrong with being humble. There's nothing wrong with being just saying, look, I'm a regular guy. I'm just doing my best. Be great in your actions. Be great in your attitude. Be great in your commitment. Be great in your sacrifice. Be great in your willingness to commit. You ain't got to run around shining and with a gold grill and a $10,000 watch in a Bentley. Like all that's superficial stuff. All that stuff just to impress girls or to impress people who don't think deeply. I don't want to impress you with the car I drive. I want to impress you with the ideas in my mind. I don't want to impress you by the kind of watch I'm wearing. I want to impress you with the level of my commitment, consistency, and character. I don't want to impress you by just showing you how big my house is. I'm going to show you about how hard I work and how hard I go and how I'm willing to go the extra mile to achieve things, right? So I think that ultimately what we've kind of lost in our society, and I think young people suffer from this, is that you got a lot of people that are what I call the shiny Negroes. Not that Shadeur's in this category. I'm not talking about him anymore because I don't want to make this personal. But you got a lot of shiny Negroes. It starts with the rappers. And I'm telling you, I've gone face to face with them. I always tell you guys about how I spent 10, 12 hours on the phone with Kanye West. And eventually I got bored because I said, you really think that you're the center of the universe. And you're not, man. We're in this together. We're black men. We got to fight and get stuff done. We ain't got to we spend all that time talking about how great you are. Who does that benefit other than you? That doesn't benefit anybody other than you, and it means nothing. It means nothing. So this is one of the reasons I have so much respect for a lot of veterans. If you talk to a real soldier, somebody who really went out and really was in the shit, like really, really fought, like not like football players and basketball players compare themselves to soldiers. They're not real soldiers. I know real soldiers. My father was in the Vietnam War, and my grandfather was in World War II. If you talk to a real good soldier, a really good soldier is very, very brave. He's willing to fight, um, but he's typically very humble. He's not a person who is going to run around telling you how amazing he is. He's just going to do the job as it's required. He's going to show up with courage. He's going to show up and do what's necessary in order to be successful. And he's not going to necessarily need all the bright, shiny stuff to validate him because he's already validated himself internally. All right, guys. So I gotta go. My wife, you are right. My wife is back, and I think she's probably mad at me for doing my live. I had just started, and she came in. Okay. All right. So you're not mad at me. Okay. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good day. God bless you. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, my website is boycewatkins.com. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com and you can get a copy of my book. My new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And sorry I got to cut it short, guys, but I'm going to check back in with you later. And again, as far as Shaddeur goes, I wish him the best. I hope that they win. It's going to be a tough season. And I'm like Tom Brady. Get your ass up out of that car and get in the film room because you might be hanging with Brady, brother, but you ain't Brady yet. So but I hope you do actually become Tom Brady. See you guys later. Have a good day. Peace.